Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Meliana and I am from class 5AG2, and now I want to explain about discourse analysis and English language teaching. To understand this topic, we need to learn two topic. There is the concept of English language teaching, the relationship between discourse analysis and English language teaching. First, the concept of English language teaching. According Paul Hirsch, 1975, they say being clear about what teaching matter vitally, because how to teacher understand teaching very much affects what they actually do in the classroom. And then about the teaching. Teaching have two ways can be used to know the definition of teaching, like one virtual way. This way refers to use and then this way using store a definition of something in a computer, especially over a network. And then this way means to use definition from online dictionaries. And then two ritual way. This used by observing an act of teaching contains series of acts regularly repeated in a classroom. And then this way means to observe what those called teacher do in a teaching, and then to draw out duties and activities done, and finally to create an interpretation of a duties and the activities to vividly describe the meaning of teaching. And then about virtual way defines teaching like impart a knowledge to instruct or instruct someone as to how to do something, and then to work, and then the work that teacher does in helping a student to learn. And then the last is the act or profession of a person who imparts knowledge or skill. And there is things we can learn from the definitions, like there is two things, like one, teaching is imparting knowledge or skills, and two, helping students to learn. And then about these two things, we can found the teacher maybe formulate this way. And teaching is like to help a student learn something by imparting knowledge or skills. Virtual way defines teaching. Then we will find three main stages, like one, pre-teaching or planning, and two, while teaching or implementing, and then three, post-teaching, evaluating. And then first, what is the pre-teaching? Pre-teaching refers to things that teachers do before imparting knowledge to a group of students or planning for teaching. And then about the definition, planning is meant to make a set of decisions about what to do and how to do something. And then in the pre-teaching, teacher is usually what to do, usually required to plan to things, like example, like planning for what to teach. In this is planning for what to teach using teaching materials. And then two is planning for how to teach. This is used like teaching methods. In pre-teaching, teachers will do like to identify what to teach, and to this about to success in identify. This is to identify in what to teach. The teacher attempts to determine the type of teaching material that will be used in the classroom. And then some scholars, example like Brown, 1995, Richard, 2001, Tomlinson, 2007, Yassi and Carradine is 2015, strongly suggest teacher to do a needs analysis, because this is so important to know the type of teaching material suitable for a particular group of students, and then formulate learn goals and objective after the types of learning material are identified. And then important to prepare and sequence the materials that will be used to achieve the learning objectives, and then important to create a syllabus and lesson plans. And then next is to identify how to teach. This is about to knowing how to teach is refers to the process of identifying and the most effective method used for teaching the existing selected materials. And then what is and then is two is while teaching. About while teaching is about refers. It refers to things that teachers do when imparting knowledge to a group of students. And then about the in while teaching, teacher primary goals is to impart knowledge or skills to the learners through explicit instructions by reference to item in the lesson plans, in the lessons plans, such as like time allotment, and then teaching activities or teaching methodology, and then supplementary materials, and then an extra classwork. And then in what is about them teaching method is defined as the principle used to instruction which may cover decision on teacher way in given lesson, how to encourage student participation in the classroom activities, and how to select and use teaching instruments. The last is post teaching. Post teaching is like refers to things that teachers do after doing the process of imparting knowledge to a group of students, like evaluating teaching. About evaluating is means like to make a judgment on the effectiveness of teaching, and then be effective in this context means that teaching is successful in producing an intended result according the stipulated course objective. After now the pre-teaching, while teaching, and post-teaching, we have a question: what is the teaching? Actually, but the teaching is then defined as the process of imparting knowledge or skill to a group of students by applying three main stages, like planning the teaching, giving instructions in teaching, and evaluating the teaching outcomes. And then there's more specifically according Smith 2016 defines about teaching is as the process of attending to people's needs, experience and feelings, and making specific intervention to help them to learn particular things. And then about attending to people needs, experience and feelings is like referred to pre-teaching, where teachers are required to determine their teaching materials on the basis of needs analysis and situation analysis, and then make a specific intervention. Is like refers to the teacher or teacher's teaching methods, which consist of teacher way in given lesson encourage a student and student participation in the classroom, and then using teaching instruments to support effective teaching. And then about learning particular things is like to the process of measuring if the learning outcomes and the outcome achieved to course objective or like evaluation. And then about English language teaching, for the definition, about English language teaching is like the process of the imparting skills and knowledge of English to a group of students whose first language is not English, through the implementation of three main steps like pre-teaching or planning, while teaching, giving instructions, and then post-teaching or measure learning outcomes. And then the relationship between discourse analysis and English language teaching. This is to understand this sub topic, we need to learn two things. Like one, the trend in English language teaching or theoretical perspective, and then two, the trend of English language teaching in Indonesia or factual perspective. And then first, the theoretical perspective. According Mitch A.V. in a 2010, it's like most English teachers tend to teach their student English in isolation with its use. As a result, the knowledge of context is lengthy, and when it is time to practice the things they have learned in the classroom in real life interaction, and the students encounter difficulties to use the language socially appropriate, and find it difficult to recognize the functions of the iterates addressed by the native speaker of English. And then for the question about what we learn from the theory, maybe we can learn we get and then we learn that many we learn that many English learners can speak grammatically correct English but fail in speaking naturally intelligible English. Such situation frequently generate pragmatic difficulties or difficulties to understand each other due to a natural English, which make their interlocutors uncomfortable. And for the one example for pragmatic difficulties, like students unnatural English can be illustrated in a situation which really occurs in interaction between a college Indonesian learner of English with a native English speaker, and then as a native English speaker afraid something to the student by asking, "What would you like to eat?" And the student immediately responded this question by saying, "Everything is okay." And the native English speaker asked him, "What do you mean?" What is that? I don't understand. And then if we notice the student sentence, it was grammatically constructed. But why didn't the native English speaker understand? The answer is to this situation is that like the student has spent most of his time to learn English by memorizing the rules of English grammar and vocabulary, which has made him very familiar to textual English, but has never been given opportunity to learn how to use the rules and the vocabulary in the real English context. If he had ever learned how to respond such a question, he would know that the appropriate the answer was it's all good, which means no problem, you can buy me any food you want. And then this situation indicates how he learns English and how his English teachers have taught him. And then about the factual perspective. Okay, in Indonesia, many students of English encounter the same problem as stated in the theory. This happened because the students receive many inputs of English form, but less in English function. And then teaching English through drilling the rules of grammar and memorizing vocabulary has been the teaching orientation of many English teachers in Indonesia. And then about what is the relationship between discourse analysis and English language teaching is we are found that is certainly connected in inseparable and also it is so obviously since for an education that discourse analysis signifies language and language enables discourse analysis. And then language is one method of communicating message, while discourse analysis can be used to as a tool to disclose a message being communicated. And in a nutshell, the relationship between discourse analysis and language is like a same symbiotic, like one in which one will not exist without the other. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.